same time.
So certainly, there is at least one historical evidence that shows a link between Easter and the resurrection of Jesus. But again, how did Jesus get lost in the crowd?
I think it's time to move on. It's a natural progression of the world, like everything else. Do you remember the Wii, for instance? That video gaming device that flooded the market not so long ago? Where is it now? Gone. Goodbye. See ya. There are better products now that offer better time efficiency and enhanced quality.
It's really sad to see how much people change.
Of course, it's a huge change in people's mentality. It probably started with something similar to what happened in the early 21st century, when society started replacing Merry Christmas greeting with Happy Holidays. Who's there now celebrating Christmas except few, who are also totally ignorant of the true background behind it?
What happened to Easter will eventually happen to Christmas, or what used to be Christmas.
Christmas, Easter, Christmas, Easter. Somehow, we observe some similarities in how people reacted to both occasions. I just can't see the relation between the two.
Christmas is not about Santa on the tree, as society portrays it. It's much more deeper than that. Christmas is the birth of Christ, the incarnation of the Son of God. Therefore we say, He took what is ours and gave us what is His. He gave us life.
By His resurrection, He revealed to us this life. This is way more precious than the eggs, chocolates, and bunnies. This is the core doctrine of Christian faith. According to St. Paul, if Christ did not rise, our faith would be futile.
How ironic to see Christmas, which is supposed to be a silent night and a holy night, becoming extremely social, loud and not holy by any means. Whereas Easter, the outmost focus of Christianity, goes by as real silent night. Too silent to be acknowledged.
Sounds like a big thing. Unfortunately, not so many people realize that. And here comes the next question. Who is responsible? This matter should not be taken lightly. If you think Easter is not something important to you, fair enough. But it can also happen to many other beliefs and values. Unless, if we find out what may have happened.
It's mostly carelessness that evolved into ignorance by time.
It's absolutely science, I have no doubt about that. If you actually just observe the trend of science and technology since the 20th century, you'll find that it's actually proportional to the drawback of the Christian faith.
I know hate is such a big word, but I have to say I hate when people put science and Christianity as opponents, because they are not. This is like comparing apples to oranges. Science has its own separate message, and so is Christianity. Miracles, for instance, do happen, and I believe that. You cannot explain miracles through science. That does not mean science is against Christianity. There are two different things: natural phenomena in which science is interested, and supernatural ones, which would require faith to believe in them. These are the focus of Christianity. Therefore, it is a matter of the individual's faith or the lack thereof.
Blaming it on science is a misconception that people had foolishly invented. To say that science is responsible is very degrading to the Christian faith, because it delegates so much limitation and instability to this faith. Science and technology have done a lot to humanity, which I do not think Christianity has a problem with. To choose science over religion, or vice versa, is a personal choice, and people have the free will to choose from day one.
However, that should not be the case, because science and Christianity can go hand to hand and get along just fine.
No one is responsible. Absolutely nobody. It's like pointing fingers at whoever is responsible for all of the good inventions that are out there and saying, why didn't they come up with them a long time ago? Change, even in one's belief, isn't a crime and should never be. That's just how society functions.
So is it science, society, the busy life, or individuals? Of course we can keep arguing forever, but it's clear by now that something really important like the resurrection of Christ had disappeared. For sure, this gradual change started sometime in life. So when did it start, and why? Would the Beccaris family know, since they're celebrating Easter?
I've never heard it has anything to do with Jesus.
All I know was an old habit that was passed over by our ancestors.
So do you go to church?
No.
I grew up in a Christian family. I was going to church until I turned 17. It was around 2027. there was something called Sunday school. Oh, Sunday school. But I don't recall that there was any young or youth teachers. I felt I didn't get the spiritual need, so I stopped going.
I believe it was between year 2010 and 2020 when the Christian youth started to open up to the world. On the other hand, the church did not meet their needs, so it became unappealing to them. And as I said, they became careless. So here's one generation that caused this gap.
Therefore, indifference in teaching the real Christian doctrine leads to a huge lack of knowledge. This doctrine then turns into superficial images, like bunnies and eggs, and then disappears.
Is it reversible? How can we take it back?
It's too late now.
It would require a huge amount of effort. Not an easy task, that's for sure. It has to be collective action.
You gotta have a time machine so that you can go back a few decades and undo it.
We have seen how bad it is. It's time now to keep an eye on what's left of our good values, before it's too late. Otherwise, then we'd fall victims to the human ignorance and superficiality, as what happened to Easter.
How ironic to see Christmas, which is supposed to be a silent night and a holy night, becoming extremely social, loud and not holy by any means. Whereas Easter, the outmost focus of Christianity, goes by as real silent night. Too silent to be